أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear students, today our lesson is A-Level Islamic Studies, Paper 1, Study of Set Texts from the Holy Quran, Passage number 2, Surah Nisa, verse number 12. The topic of this passage is inheritance. Look at the passage. Allah says, in what your wives leaves, your share is half, and if they leave no child. But if they leave a child, you get a fourth after the payment of legacies and debts. In what you leave, their share is a fourth. If you leave no child, but if you leave a child, they get an eighth after the payment of legacies and debts. If a man or woman whose inheritance is in question has left neither ascendants nor descendants, but has left a brother or a sister, each one of two get a sixth. But if more than two, they share in a third after the payment of legacies and debts, so that no loss is caused to anyone. Thus is it ordained by Allah, and Allah is all knowing, most forbearing. Dear students, the summary of this passage is if wife dies and her husband will get half if she had no children, or if she had children, the husband will get 1/4. If husband is died and wife will get 1/4 if he had not children, or if the husband has children, then wife will get 1/8. Or the person who had neither parents nor children, or a one sister or brother from the mother side, so they will get 1/6. And if the person has only one sister and one brother, or he has no parents nor children, they will get 1/6 each. But if they are more than one, then they will share 1/3 of all. And if the brother and sisters are from the mother side. If the brother and sisters are from the father side, so they will share as the general commandments of Allah, ke female get half and male get full of the share. In this verse, Allah describes only the sisters and brothers from the mother side. This passage is taken from Surah An-Nissa. It tells us about the division of inheritance. In this passage, Allah says, and you will get half of what your wives leaves behind, if they be childless. But if they leave children, then your share will be 1/4 of what they have left after the fulfillment of their will and the payment of their debt, if any. As for them, they will be entitled of to entitled to one fourth of the inheritance left by you if you are childless. But in case you leave behind children, their share will be 1/8 of the whole after the fulfillment of your will and payment of your debt. And if the deceased, whether man or woman, whose property is to be divided as inheritance, leaves no children and no parents behind, but has one brother or one sister from mother side alive, each of the two will be entitled of 1/6 of the whole. But in case the brothers and sisters from the mother side are more than one, then the total share of all of them will be 1/3 of the whole after the fulfillment of the will and the payment of the debt, if any, provided that it is not injurious to the heirs. This is the commandment of Allah, and Allah is all knowing and lenient. In case the late leaves behind children, his wife and wives will be entitled to 1/8 of the inheritance. If he dies childless, she and or they will be entitled to the 1/4 of the whole. यानी अगर एक आदमी फौत हुआ है, उसकी एक बीवी है या ज़्यादा बीवियां हैं, तो वो उन सब को, अगर उसके बच्चे नहीं हैं तो वो उन सारी वाइफ को, एक वाइफ है या ज़्यादा हैं तो वो उन सब को 1/4 मिलेगा। अगर उसके बच्चे हैं आदमी के और उसकी एक बीवी है या ज़्यादा बीवी हैं तो उन सब को 1/8 मिलेगा। She or they will be entitled to the 1/4 of the whole. This 1/4 or 1/8 will be divided equally among all of them. If there is any other here, they shall get share out of the remaining 5/6 or 2/3, as the case may be. Otherwise, the late will have the right to make his will about the whole of the remaining 5/6 or 2/3. यानी जो जिनका अल्लाह ने ज़िक्र किया है, जिन लोगों का, उनको देने के बाद जो बच जाए तो आदमी को ये राइट है कि उनके मुतल्लक कोई वसीयत कर दे, तो बाकी जो है उनमें डिवाइड किया जाएगा जितना बच गया है। यानी 5/6 बच गया या 2/3 बच गया, जो कुछ बच गया है बाकियों में वो डिवाइड होगा। All the commentators and scholars are agreed that in this verse brothers and sisters refer to the half brother and half sisters from the side of the mother alone. यानी इस पैसेज में जो जिक्र किया गया है कि अगर एक आदमी फौत होता है और उसकी औलाद नहीं है, ना उसके माँ बाप हैं, सिर्फ उसके बहन भाई हैं और वो माँ की तरफ से भाई बहन हैं, तो जो यहाँ ज़िक्र किया गया है तो वो उन बहन भाइयों का ज़िक्र किया गया इस आयत में जो कि माँ की तरफ से हैं। The rule of the inheritance about the real brother and real sisters or half brother and half sisters from the side of father is given at the end of the surah. इसी सूरा यानी सूरा निसा के एंड पर दूसरे भाइयों का जिक्र है जो कि उसके असल बहन भाई हैं या जो बाप की तरफ से बहन भाई हैं। उनको कितना मिलेगा तो ये अल्लाह ने जिक्र किया है इसी सूरत के एंड पर। इस वर्ष में सिर्फ उन बहन भाइयों का जिक्र है जो कि माँ की तरफ से हैं। अल्लाह सेज, यानी जो लास्ट सूरा की वर्स है वो ये है, दे रिक्वेस्ट फ्राम यू अ लीगल रूलिंग, से Allah gives you are ruling concerning one leaves neither descendants nor ascendants, as here, if a man dies leaving no child but a sister, she will have half of what he left, and he inheritance from her. If she dies and has no children, no child, but there are two sisters, they will have two third of what he left. यानी अगर उसकी सिर्फ एक बहन है तो उसको हाफ मिलेगा, अगर उसके ज़्यादा बहनें हैं तो उनको वन थर्ड मिलेगा, अगर बहन भाई और भी हैं तो फिर क्या होगा, इफ़ दे हैव बोथ ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स द मेल विल हैव द शेयर ऑफ द टू फीमेल, तो फिर उस सूरत में मेल को दोगुना हिस्सा मिलेगा फीमेल से, यानी बहन से दोगुना हिस्सा मिलेगा भाई को. The attribute of Allah that He is all knowing has been mentioned here for two reasons. First, it is to warn the people that none can escape the consequences of a break of His law, for He has knowledge of everything. Second, it is to convince the people that the shares of inheritance appointed by Allah are absolutely right, for Allah knows better than they in what lies their good. The other attribute that he is lenient has been mentioned to show that the laws of Allah are not harsh but are so lenient that they do not put the people to hardship. Dear students, it is our lesson today. I hope you all understood. Allah Hafiz.